Buying and selling real estate can seem pretty complicated if you haven't been through it before. But most people only, buy and sell once in a blue moon. But since we have recently finished our spec house and we're right in the middle of selling it, we're going to go through the sales process ourselves. And so let's go through some of the basics about the process for you. Maybe get you up and running if you're thinking about something like this. The first thing to discuss are brokers and agents, real estate brokers. And for the purpose of this conversation, you can think of brokers and agents as the same thing. They're a professional who assists with the transaction. They're a person that keeps close track of the market, of prices, of the legal and ethical pitfalls. They're someone who has, they better have a large network of other service providers in the industry, and they need to really hold your hand during the whole process. Now, you don't have to use an agent or a broker to buy and sell real estate, but most people don't have the time. Most people don't have the knowledge, and so for most people, it makes pretty good sense to use an agent. Now, historically in the United States, there are usually two agents involved in a real estate transaction. One that is there specifically to represent the buyer, and one that is there specifically to represent the seller. The seller's agent is known as the listing agent. Listing a house is the act of posting it to the open market. The listing agent then acts in a fiduciary capacity to speak to other interested parties and to represent the seller of the house only. If you want to buy the house, you got to talk to that agent. And most of the time, they have a contract that gives them the exclusive right to sell the house. It's called an exclusive listing. Now, the person buying the house has usually also selected an agent beforehand to work on their behalf. In years past, this agent would take them around town and show them a bunch of different houses that the agent thinks meets their criteria, and then help the buyers write and make offers on those houses to those sellers. So let me interject right here that this industry is changing a lot at this moment, like as much as every other industry. And right now, anybody can go online and look at houses for sale with almost no barriers at all. It didn't used to be that way. The websites didn't exist. It used to be that only the agents had access to the house listings that were currently available in the MLS. These agents can provide a valuable service. They're usually compensated on a commission basis, which is based on a percentage of the sales price. Now, just a note, finding a good agent is just as important and just as tricky as finding a good contractor. Once a buyer and a seller have come to an agreement on price and on closing date and on deposits and a few other things, the sale process is sort of handed over to an escrow company. This can also be known as a title company. They're kind of synonyms. This company, who charges a fee for their service, does a few things. They act sort of like a referee at a ball game or maybe a boxing match, making sure that people are doing their job and not cheating. They hold any earnest monies or deposits associated with the property in their bank account as an impartial and safe third party. They make available all of the documents needed to finalize and record the sale at time of sale. They perform title searches, and this is a big deal. They can sell or provide title insurance if it's wanted or required. A title search is like a mini investigation into the history of the property to make darn sure that the person selling the property indeed is the owner, and that there aren't any other liens or encumbrances or bear traps or, liabilities against the property that are a matter of public record. Now, there are lots of variations on these title searches, and you really need to speak with the title company that you're dealing with to understand what type of search they're doing for you, and maybe if you want something either in addition or less associated with what they're providing. Now, most often, the title company is also going to provide a title insurance policy to the buyer of the property that gives them insurance, recourse, in case someone does show up out of the blue and claim to own the property or claim that the seller had no right to sell or something like that. That can get messy. And this policy protects the buyer and gives them coverage in that event. Now, if there's a lender involved, those people will also usually get a title policy of their own at this point to protect their investment and their interest as well. The title company is the party who sort of enacts the contract. They sort of pull the trigger and make it go. And if everything goes according to plan, the title company will create a new deed, gather all the signatures, print all the paperwork, receive the money from the lenders, notarize and record the legal documents, and enact the terms of whatever sales contract was agreed upon. In other parts of the country, this might all happen with an attorney. But around here, in the West, it's all about real estate brokers, title companies, and usually mortgage brokers. Now, good real estate professionals, when you can find them, are valuable and helpful and can help prevent a lot of frustration and confusion and loss. Whether you have a broker or not, selling real estate is usually, almost always, a slow process. Maybe best case scenario, you could close something in a week or so, assuming you have a willing buyer and a seller that's ready to go. But usually, almost always, it takes a lot longer than that. 4 to 6 weeks maybe on average, and that's if everything goes smoothly. There's a reason that real estate is not considered a liquid asset. So since we are going through this very process right now, as the seller, this is all fresh in our minds, and so it occurs to us it might be of interest to you. In a few months, when this is all said and done, and the dust has settled and the smoke is cleared, and we're able to approach one more video about the spec house, we'll give you an update on how all of this went for us on this side of the real estate transaction equation. Thank you for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.